6,000 days in hardcore Minecraft. It's another milestone, and today I'm going to build a massive map room that shows my entire world. Such a creation will require brand new farms, thousands of villagers, thousands of diamonds, and a whole lot of exploring. Plus a cool pixel art or two as well. I'm also so close to 4 million subscribers, and this video has literally taken hundreds of hours to make, so please, if you enjoy it, don't forget to subscribe. And here we are, back again. I feel like I've just got so much more time to do so many more things. So the thing that I'd like to do first is very simple. Get 1,000 diamonds, because I've never done that before. Although just before that, I should probably repair this elytra. That's perfect. And I'm going to start a timer to see just how long this project takes me. I'm going to begin the search right here, at the place where I collected every single block, since it's actually built in an ancient city. And ancient cities have diamonds knocking about all over the place. Probably use fortune, then I know just how many diamonds I've got. Finally, I found another. But all in all, they're kind of rare at the moment. There we go. Now I've got 10, and I'm in a massive cave to explore with more diamonds. There's my first stack, and there's my first 100. Now I'm up to 2 stacks, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now 8, which means I'm past halfway. Or at least I will be once I've mined this. Fantastic. 10 stacks. But there's still many more to go. Mining these two up makes 700. And now 800, 900, and 1,000. Actually, slightly more because there's another one there. Just look at them all. Don't they look great? And it only took me nearly 5.5 hours. But it's all's well that ends well because I can now make my way back home. Look at that, some ancient debris. Nice. Well, it will be nice if I don't die to these piglin brutes, which is very close to happening. Maybe I should just continue flying back home. All of these can go in there. And since this is the 6,000 days video, there's a brand new poster. Here it is. I think it's a pretty cool design, and it's a bit of a sneak peek of what's going to be coming. I have personally signed each and every one of them. It took forever. And they're available on sp737.store right now. And they are limited edition, so once they're sold out, they're gone forever. And to make a giant map of the world, I'm of course going to need a lot of maps. I could craft them with a serious amount of paper, which would mean waiting ages for this farm to get loads of it, or I could make a map farm. And as a byproduct, the farm will also get me loads and loads of paper. Now doing this is going to require hundreds of villagers, so a super fast villager breeder is what I'm going to go ahead and build. Every single item has been gathered up, and I also spent a bit of time getting loads of glass because it's going to come in handy too. And because this village breeder is going to be part of a massive hero of the village farm, that's how I get the maps and the paper, it needs to be built above a pillager outpost. And whilst there was a pillager outpost here, I can't really build it in this spot because I don't want to destroy my pillager captain farm. But thankfully, I do know where there's another one. This is the place. It's only about 1,000 blocks from my house, and the villager breeder has to be built up really high in the sky. This is the platform that will have loads of farmer villagers up here. The tricky part is the very fun task of getting villagers all the way up here. As the carrots grow, the villagers will throw them to each other, and that is why they will breed. Although I didn't quite bring it up, but we'll worry about that later. Instead, I will continue to build up these walls. This tube is where the baby villagers will drop down, and they'll walk over here because they're trying to get to these beds. And this lever here allows me to turn the breeder on and off. Now, when they come through here, they will get stuck right here and stuck on top of that wall. Then they'll grow up and go up above, float along, go through the powdered snow, land on the trapdoor. The ladders are there so that entity cramming isn't a problem. And my priority right now is to get some bones so I can use bone meal on the carrots. And I'll also need blocks of ice so that there can be a system to transport the villagers upwards. Time to get some bone meal crafted, some carrots grown, and more planted. And I've realised instead of building a massive water tube to get the villagers up here, that there is instead a better way. And that way will be to use nether portals. I need one that connects to this, which is above the nether. And then I'll make another one once I find a nearby village. Not exactly nearby or the type of village I was looking for. But you know what? The great floating village will do. The way I see it, I'm doing all you guys a favor. Now, I reckon I could use a job... Okay, I was going to say I could use a job site block to learn. It literally just walked through on its own. I'm not complaining. Come on, mate. You look lost. Let's get you out of here. Just head through that portal and you'll arrive to your brand new job. Now to go and get 5 more of them. Welcome, villager number 2. And whilst I could just breed those 2 to get the other 4, I'm instead going to manually move them. I've got them all through. Some have come back through. What do you guys think you're doing? Oh, no. We can't be having that. Let's get this portal broke. Seriously, can't believe 4 of you came back through. Then when their cooldown is over, I can light it again and send them all through. Welcome, guys. This is your life now. And to speed things up, every single one of these crops is getting grown. Because the quicker their inventories fill up with carrots, the quicker I will get more baby villagers. Well, they're throwing crops to each other. They're having baby villagers. The plan is working. It will take me 50 to 100 days to get the hundreds and hundreds of villagers that I want. And since I'm going to day 6,000, I've got loads of time. There's no rush. You lot can all breed to your heart's content. And I can get busy building the rest of this thing. This is the bit where all the villagers are going to go. So it's going to be modified a little bit later once the villagers are in. But they will get ejected into their slots. As you can see, it is nicely filling up with baby villagers. Everything's coming along nicely. Another thing that we'll need doing for this farm is to completely spawn-proof the outpost, since I only want pillagers to spawn in one specific place. Look at this. We're starting to get adult villagers as well. Excellent. But to build this whole farm, I am going to need a lot more resources than what I've got. So going home to gather all them is my next priority. There it is. Every single item, and there's quite a lot of them. So now I can get this farm built. Well, after my elytra repaired anyway. So it's going to start with a massive yellow platform down here that the pillagers will be able to spawn on. And then there will need to be a villager in this space here. And that is what is going to lure the pillagers to run up here, and they'll go up this chute. And you'd think getting a villager would be a hard thing, but I can actually just build a quick portal, which will still connect to this one on the nether roof. And another villager can be kidnapped from his home. And I now have no clue where he's going, but he's walking miles away in the wrong direction. What on earth do you think you're doing? Now he's left me no choice but to boat him by force. That's you in there, perfect. There's going to be another spawning platform right here. And this one's got redstone lamps on them so that the light levels can control whether the spawning platforms are on or not. I'll also need one final villager right here to lure the pillagers that spawn on there. Oh my goodness, I just found the rarest block in Minecraft. A half bed. And the sun is going down. And the question is, can you sleep in it? I really want to know. Moment of truth. Nope. You apparently cannot use a half bed to sleep in. Anyway, this is the last of the villagers here. Once again, SP77 successfully ruined something. Because this guy won't get a job, I've got to manually move him, which may take a little bit of time. I could be wrong, but I don't think I can use a nitwit for this farm, so he's kind of useless to me in the end anyway. Instead, I'll grab one of these guys and send him all the way down there. Okay, sadly he didn't survive the fall. I miscalculated. Good thing I've got 50 more to test it on. That one made the fall, perfect. 1 out of 2 survivors. Are you kidding me? I was just about to say 1 out of 2 survivors is not bad, and then he nearly escapes. Thankfully he's okay. So now it's time to get back to work. And that involves building a massive slab roof for darkness. And a giant water chute to send up the pillagers. This is where the storage system is going to be. I've not currently set it up with auto sorters, because I'm just going to be getting maps and paper at the moment. But once I've got loads of them, I plan to change it to a redstone farm. But even for those, I probably won't be needing any sorters. The redstone is coming along very, very nicely. And this right here is where the player is going to AFK. So there needs to be a trapdoor like this, and then the same on this side, and the trapdoors opening and closing are going to be waterlogged so that they can easily be turned on and off. You can see off and back on again. Not entirely sure how many villages I've got, but it's definitely a lot. And once I finish the rest of the redstone, I will probably start adding them into here. And once these last few final bits are down, it's done. The hero of the village farm is complete. Well, it will be once I've got enough villagers here to go into those 7 slots. And since I want to be able to do other things whilst I wait for them to breed, I'm going to build a chunk loader right here. Only thing is, creating such a thing requires a few extra materials. That should be everything. It's going to be a very simple design using droppers and an item going through with hopper minecarts to collect that item. That's the redstone done, very basic. And now to do the exact same thing on this side. Mission accomplished, and I can activate it by putting an item into the system, and this will get me lots and lots more baby villagers. I'm also going to make another portal right here so that I can easily travel backwards and forwards to the farm. And whilst I wait to get loads and loads of villagers, I'd really like to use this Ravager farm to get to level 1000. But that will require a lot more TNT because I've pretty much run out of it there. So I'm going to get busy collecting lots and lots of it by getting sand at the desert. I've absolutely obliterated this desert. Looks very, very cool, doesn't it? And it's got me loads and loads of extra TNT. And I've also filled every single shulker box up with sand. And with all of that sorted, I can get myself back home, assuming my elytra don't break on the way, and then I put everything into storage. And I definitely think that by now, there should be enough villagers in this farm. Although I do wonder how well the chunk loader method works, since why have we got a giant villager stuck here? You're not meant to be there. Let me get rid of you. Is it just one? And there's no other baby ones through here like there should be. But anyway, it doesn't matter too much. I have got loads here. Now, will a minecart pick one up? No, okay. They need to be in the middle. This might kill them. Oh no, they're alright. And so now, they can be picked up into the machine. And I'm actually going to need to quickly pop back home because I needed a load of emeralds to trade with them once and lock in their profession. Once you get into a routine, it's actually pretty quick. You've only basically got to wait as long as it takes for them to accept this job site block, which is not too long. And as you can see, every time I press this button, they get ejected and go into that slot. And that's 25 villagers in the first slot. I know that because I've got 25 maps and this has 25 nuggets in it. And to get more into the next slot, I just go ahead and remove the activator rail, place it in the next slot, and put the powered rail here instead. And as you can see, they nicely go into the next slot. So I'm going to completely fill it up, which will mean I'll have 175 villagers. In the end, I only had 40 villagers. Something must have gone wrong somewhere. My attempt to stop them from dying from entity cramming must have failed. So to really speed things up, I'm going to build more villager breeders above this one. Not one more, not two more, not three more. No, I reckon about 9 more or something. I'm going to go crazy because in my opinion, you can never have too many. That's everything that I'm going to need. So I'm going to get busy building them. And it's done. The 10-layer villager breeder, at least it will be done in a moment, because I also need to fill it with a load of villagers. The plan is to use a water chute to send some of them upwards, so I'd better break all this ice, and I can lure one up by breaking the job site block and putting it right here instead. See? Works perfectly. That's it. No, you have to go up now. There's no backseas. Now to grab another one, and I have my 2 villagers for breeding. And to speed things up, I might as well send every single one of them up, since they're about to populate the entire breeder. Now that they're up here, I'd better plant down all of the carrots, and I'm gonna grow them all as well. I think I can leave all these guys to it. I'm gonna open this trapdoor and have this one down here open so any babies will fall and land on this level. And I'm gonna get carrots planted on every single level. And it is done. Carrots on every single level, and the villagers are pouring in. If I open this trapdoor, the rest should be able to get in and get to work. And these baby villagers are gonna fall down to here and be able to breed more. I took a bed there just so that they don't die of fall damage. And I should also get to work removing this water tower. Now, staying in that area is going to be best for me to get all the villagers, but just to make sure the babies don't die, I'm going to grab slime blocks so that they can bounce on them when they fall. It's much safer than having a bed, and now I've not got much else to do other than get this entire place filled right up. And I think it's finally done. I think every single one has the villagers. I've just got to wait for this little fella to grow up. Apparently in the process I've upset these villagers because this golem is not happy with me. But I'm now breeding enough baby villagers to get all of these slots filled up. That's another 25 in there. So let's move this along one and keep going. That golem was not happy with me. I was just trying to get rid of him. Didn't want any hard feelings or anything like that. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about them. I'm going to continue putting villagers in the system. 5 of the slots have now been filled with 25 villagers. So once again, I'll move the activator rail along one and keep going until every single slot is filled. And there we go. It is now completely full of villagers. I've also got loads more in the pipeline ready, and I have added a piston door to every level so that I can disable the breeder like that. So at the moment, it is switched off. And now I've got to pop back home to grab a few extra resources so that I can fully finish the farm. As you can see, this orange glass needs removing, and then these rails also need mining up. I'm going to put glass right there and also there. Then pistons are going to push the slabs downwards and get mined away. And I need a row of blocks right here with more pistons facing into them. I can activate them all at once with a button, break them all, remove this top row of glass and redstone, and then I'll finally waterlog the slabs. And that's it. The hero of the village farm is now complete and ready for testing. Well, it's almost complete. I just need to grab a little bit more water because in this tube it doesn't quite go all the way up yet. I'm also going to quickly build something else before I use it, and I turn the mob switch off so now pillagers are going to get in the way. But yeah, I'm going to build a full regeneration beacon. That way when I go AFK, I don't have to worry about starvation or anything like that. Although I didn't bring enough glass to completely spawn-proof it, so that's the next task. And with that done, I can now test out the farm. Loads of pillagers have come up, and I have now got a raid starting. But what happens below is the raid tries to spawn, and it instantly despawns because it's so far away. And because an ominous banner has dropped into there, the game detects that. And I've just got the hero of the village, as you can see in the top right. Now all these guys are soon gonna start throwing me gifts. And there we go. Just look at all the maps and paper flowing in. I seem to have picked most of it up in my inventory, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw it over there, and then I'm gonna go and do this with the fireworks so that all of it will successfully go into that chest system. It's working fantastically, so I'm going to run it for a bit and get as much as I can. A few hours have passed. Let's go ahead and see how much we've got. That's it, guys. Keep throwing it to me. Don't stop. Also, I better eat some pork chops. Good thing I have that regeneration beacon, otherwise it would have been a problem. I'll turn the machine off with that. And look at all the paper and all of the maps. I did not expect to be getting that much. I think that is all that I'm gonna need. I can also only guess that I've accidentally got a farmer in there because for some reason I'm getting seeds thrown at me. But yeah, what a great farm this is. I'm gonna nip back home and get some shulker boxes to be filled. A little bit overkill, but I think 8 should be enough to collect all of the drops. 1.5 shulker boxes worth of maps. Doesn't look like a lot, but that's 20,000 papers worth and also 2,500 compasses, so it definitely is better. Especially when you consider I got a shulker box and a half's worth of paper on top of that as well. And with all of that out of the way, I think I should finally do what I've been wanting to achieve since I started this world, which is to reach level 1,000. There we go, level 900 has been reached. I hope I've got enough TNT left to get to level 1,000. And here it comes, finally! Level 1,000. I've never ever done that before. I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to keep going until this machine runs out of TNT, which by the looks of things, there's not that much left. Okay, so it shouldn't take too long. And the TNT has now finally completely run out. I've got none left anywhere, so the machine can be switched off. However, there is still a lot of XP here to collect, so I'm going to get all of it. And there we go, 1,031 levels, a few levels to spare in case I need them for some reason. Now this giant map is going to consist of 2,500 in total. It's going to be 50 by 50 wide. It's going to be massive, and it's also going to be laggy. And because I don't want to break or corrupt the area around my house, I have got to find the perfect location. But before I find the perfect location, the actual build is going to require a lot of concrete. Mainly white concrete, and as you can see, I don't have very much. And while sand is something that's in abundance thanks to my my earlier antics, gravel on the other hand, not so much. I'm not happy with what I've got. I want to have like 4 or 5 shulker boxes worth at least. So I reckon the best way for me to sort that is to just grab a few of these, fly to the bartering farm, and use the gold from the gold farm next to it to get them busy trading. The farm is definitely producing more than enough to keep all of these piglins busy. And then on the other side of this portal, the gravel will be coming into this chest. And look at that. Already we've got 1 shulker box worth. So progress is pretty good. And by the time I'm finished, I'll have much more. I hope after all that time, I've got more gravel than I will ever need. Let's have a look. Okay, it's looking quite positive indeed. Enough to fill every shulker box at the very least, which is good. In fact, there's so much that I'm going to have to spend a bit of time crafting some more. 6 shulker boxes worth. Absolutely fantastic. And there's a bit of extra gold for me to take home too. Now with all of this, I'm going to start off with just making 4 shulker boxes worth of concrete. And you know what? Even better, to speed up the crafting, I'm going to use the old auto crafter. Although I suppose, I don't know if it really is an auto crafter. It makes crafting much easier. Because as you can see, as soon as items start filtering through, I can start crafting the white concrete powder. And it can do it much faster and much more efficiently than I ever could. Now I'm going to need to convert all of this, which can be done at the concrete converter. There we go. It's all in the system and ready to be put into shulker boxes. Great. That's nicely ready for when I need it. Now another thing I'm going to need lots and lots of is item frames. 42 just isn't going to be enough because I actually need 2,500. I'm about 500 short here, but that's not a problem because very conveniently I have a massive hoggling farm that gets me loads and loads of leather. Now the only other thing I do need is 300 stacks of sticks. And I've got nowhere near that much. If I get an entire shulker box's worth of logs, then I'll be pretty close to what I need. And whilst the farm I'm about to go to was designed to get something else, its byproduct is a lot of logs. Yes, the dirt farm produces 4 spruce logs every time a tree is grown, which for me is gonna be perfect. Everything does seem to be working nicely, which is a good sign because it's a very complicated farm, and I'll keep using it till I get plenty and plenty of logs. That should probably be long enough. And here we have an entire shulker box of logs. They can go in there and I'll craft the item frames later, because next I need a place for this massive map to go. I don't want it to be too close to my house because all the maps will be a little laggy, so I'm going to search for the perfect spot. This looks good to me, so now I'm going to dig a massive hole for the build to go in. Finally! Mission accomplished. There is just one tiny little bit of bad news. My silk touch pickaxe did break. I now only have this fortune one available. And I forgot I got bad omen from a pillager. Oh, here we go. Now we've got a raid. Although it seems to have failed to spawn, so that's good news. Anyway, I'm trying to do this in as efficient a way as possible. That's pretty good. And I've successfully maxed it without going under level 1,000. Now, when it comes to placing all the maps, if I place them on glowstone, then they will not have any shadows and they'll look a lot better. But that does mean that I need 2,500 pieces of the glowstone, which, believe it or not, I don't quite have. So I'm going to fly over to this raid farm to see if there's much here. And the answer seems to be yes, there are some shulker boxes with glowstone in them and a few random stacks. It's not a crazy amount, but it's still better than nothing. And how will I get the rest of all the ones that I need? Well, it'll be from my good friend the cleric at the Void Trader. By the time I'm done, I should have absolutely loads. All emeralds have been traded, and a good amount of extra glowstone has been obtained. And now I'll take all the glowstone and also all the white concrete, and then begin work on this build. The sheer amount of time that it is taking me to place down all this glowstone is making me realise just how many maps there are going to be. Good job I've got 500 days this episode. I've got a lot of exploring to do. Mission accomplished. And then I need a border of white concrete all the way around the outside. With that done, I can start putting the maps down anytime I want. But I still need a few extra resources for the rest of the build. For now, I've got enough of the items here to at the very least do most of the build. And for the walls, I kind of want it to look like a bit of a world map. So I'm going to kind of do like terrain like this and just kind of, yeah, make bits of green that are the land and then ocean around them. You know what? I have to say, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? And I reckon it'll be perfect once I've built it all the way around. There we go. I have left gaps on 4 of the sides so that there's a way for there to be some staircases. Although apparently I don't have any quartz stairs at the moment, so I should rectify that right now. And yeah, they'll just go along like that, and then I'll break this and continue staircasing it up. Nicely done. And then round the edge, I'm going to have the concrete like this. And then another row where I'm going to leave gaps every 4 blocks because I want sea lanterns to go there. But unfortunately, I didn't bring any sea lanterns because I've completely run out. So I'll fill in those gaps when I can. And then there'll be a quartz brick pathway that goes all the way around, followed by more white concrete with gaps for sea lanterns around the outside. I'm also going to add a border of blue concrete, and then I can start placing this, which will act as the base of the walls. And for those walls, there's going to be pillars periodically along, which I'm going to just mark out now. And they're all going to be 5 blocks tall in total. It's really starting to take shape, isn't it? Now, in some of these gaps, there's going to be blue concrete because I'm going to have water in them. In other gaps, it'll just be stone because there will be lava in here. It seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? So now I'll start putting the lava in and hope this sheep survives. Sheep, don't stand there. Move, run. My goodness, I didn't think it was going to make it. Yeah, you'll probably be safer in the water one. Anyway, with the lava in, it can be blocked up with glass panes, and I can do this in all the other gaps. That's every lava one successfully done. And in these blue gaps, I'm going to use ice to go for the water. Okay, that's not exactly how I envisaged it. As I was saying, I'm going to use ice to get the water. But I think water on its own it just isn't enough. So I'll pop back home, get a bunch of bone meal, and then I can add a bit of life to the water tanks. Might even add fish eventually as well. But for now, I'm just going to stick with what I've got. There we go. The wall is complete. Well, it will be soon, but I've got to add another layer of this on top. And that does mean that I require a few extra items, such as end rods and black concrete. And I'll also make sure to farm some guardians to get the extra sea lanterns that I need as well. At this point, I've probably been here more than long enough to get the things I need. Yeah, I've got plenty of stuff. But I also kind of want to get to level 1020, so I'm just going to stay here a little bit longer. There we go. I have made it. And now to craft myself a bunch of sea lanterns, which I can now place in the floor. So the way that more layers are going to be added up here is I'm going to first start with white concrete, keeping these pillars in. Then I'll place black concrete behind and end rods in front. And that's how that bit will look. Then there needs to be 5 more of these pillared up and columned across. Now, due to the fact that I have less space, it's going to be a little bit trickier to do this top bit, but still very, very possible. And that's going to be the pattern, a kind of checkerboard thing. So there needs to be water behind this one, which means putting down blue concrete. And this wall is now fully complete. And so I'm going to repeat what's there on all of the 3 other sides. This is going to be a big job. And at long last, the walls are all done. And as to be said, I think it's looking very, very cool. There's a few little bits here and there that I've missed that just need tidying up. Also, do you like my floating grass? Yeah, it was above like a little water pool, so I kept it. I thought it looked kind of cool. And I'm still not going to put the item frames and maps down just yet because it will make things a bit laggy. And I want to make sure everything else is built first before I do that. So I'm going to nip home to grab a few extra resources to get the roof on. Deep slate bricks are going to be part of the roof, and 5 stacks is all I need. And I've also got to head to the end to trade for a load more glass. Mission accomplished. So now it's time to add a deep slate border all the way around with loads and loads of glass in the middle to cover the entire thing. Placing all this is probably the biggest job. That's job done. Now, anytime I fly over this, I will be able to see the map through the glass. The map which currently still isn't there, so I've got more work to do, such as terraforming the area so that it fits into the scenery a bit better, which with this mountain here could actually work out to be quite a big job. It's definitely starting to get there. The hardest part is just making this mountain look natural because I've had to mine a load of it away. And all of this stone is still going to have to be turned into dirt. I'm pretty happy with what I've done. I think it looks fairly natural, doesn't it? You know, like it's part of the mountain. Maybe not that big there. Should be good enough. I do still need to fill in this gap right here, which I can do with a bunch of stone and dirt on top. From here, it looks very, very cool. The final part of the build is to dig out an entranceway. Otherwise, there'd be no way in and out. It's all dug out. Now I need some quartz stairs and some white concrete, so I can build the walls and finally the staircase. And the map room is done. All that is now missing is the most important part. Yes, the map. And apparently a sheep lives down here now. I don't know how you're still alive, to be honest. Now, building this map, as you might guess, is going to take lots and lots of exploring, which means I'm going to need lots and lots of firework rockets. Unfortunately, in here, I've only got 2 stacks left. And paper's an important part of that. I've got a decent amount, as you can see, but I would like more. I'm going to use the Hero of the Village farm to get that later. But first, I'm going to grab all of this wood so that I know how much I need to make the item frames from all this leather. And then I want to make a bunch of shulker boxes, take them to the AOL farm, and get loads more gunpowder. But yeah, first things first, I've got to craft all these sticks. That's all of them. All 8 shulker boxes. Now I take all of these and place them into the auto crafter. Although what I've got so far will still be insufficient. I need to turn all of these into sticks as well. And now, time to make all the item frames. And some people were trying to tell me in the comments that I can, like, you know, hold a control and press Q on these, but you can't. It doesn't matter what you press. I can press shift, I can press anything, and you can't drop the entire stack from there. You can only drop it from there. I just thought I'd drop that in, and that should be all of them. Yep, every single one of them is here, and every single one of them needs to be placed down. This is actually going to be quite a daunting task, isn't it? So I'm going to drop these off here. The plan is to add the item frames as I add the maps. That way it'll just combat lag as I'm doing it all. And I really feel like in here there is just not going to be enough spruce logs to make the amount of shulker boxes I need to restock up the EOL farm. So I'm going to spend more time at spawn using this dirt farm so that I'll have lots and lots more wood. That should definitely be long enough. And how much wood did it get me? A decent amount. Not even a full shulker box, but it'll do. Also grabbed myself a bunch of shulker shells from the shulker farm. As you can see, I have an abundance, and then all these can be completely filled up with shulker boxes. Mission accomplished, which means I can AFK here to get loads more gunpowder. It's been a few days, and I reckon I'll have loads of gunpowder, as well as apparently loads of endermen. Let me fly away and just despawn these. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm sure we'll have plenty of gunpowder now. These chests along here. I'll use those to make a new shulker box worth of firework rockets, and then I'll grab all my maps because I think I am ready to begin the massive job of exploring the world, filling in all these maps. Now, I'm not actually going to use spawn as the central bit for this world map because most of the things that I've built are kind of from spawns that way. They're more from spawn and then in that direction, you know, like the EOL farms and all that kind of stuff. And you know what? After a bit more thought, I'm going to use my house as the center. I think that makes a lot of sense. Everything else revolves around this part of the world. So I'm going to clear out the hotbar and start with map number 1. Okay, the problem is I'm not going to have a great deal of space, but this is map number 1, and that is my house, okay? Fully filled in. Oh, look at the volcano. It looks insane. And then from my house, I'm going to go a further 25 maps in this direction. So by the time I'm done, I should have 26 maps in total. If you think I'm going to be doing this on foot, you've got another thing coming. I'm going to fly to speed it up a little. It's actually very cool to see it in a form of a map as well. I love it. And basically, every time I get a full hotbar, that is when I just need to land and organize the maps so that they are in order of ID number. I'm telling you now, this right here is a foolproof system. And this is the end of row number 1. And look at that. It even just about has room for the old floating village, which is cool. And now before I create too many other maps, I'm going to go and get these placed down just to test everything out. And why the heck is there a shulker box in? Did I just leave the shulker box? What kind of idiot does that? Puts all these maps down and then forgets about them. Good job I saw this on the way past. Alright, map room. Prepare to have some maps added. I'll just do a strip of 2 going all the way across. And then from the middle, I need to have some sort of system where they go into my inventory in an order. And starting from here. Now, is this the right way? Yes. They're all fitting together correctly. So we just keep going like this. And it works perfectly. It just goes nicely up to there. Although I'm going to take this map because I need to know the exact coordinates of how far in that direction to go all the way. If I was being smart, I would have remembered to check when I was there, but I didn't, so we're going to do it now. This is the spot. So now I've got a good plan, which means I can do the other 24 maps going in this direction. That is the final one. and that is a forest on fire. So now to get them all placed down. Perfect. That is 1 row down, 49 to go. So I'd better get busy. I've filled in loads and loads of maps, but I'm starting to get a bit confused about which row corresponds to which. Especially considering when I hover over them, they now say unknown map. What's that all about? That's definitely going to make life harder. Okay, if I open them up, then it tells me what the map is. Yeah, but that's quite a lot of effort. Anyway, I guess it's not too bad then. I've got them organised and ordered. Now to start placing them in one long row like this. I have to say, it is looking pretty cool. I can't wait to see the fully finished thing. And I reckon looking down at it from the top is going to look even better. But there's quite a long way to go before I'm ready for that. So first, I'm going to take a load of these item frames and get them placed down on this side. And then I will collect every single map to fill in this side. And that's it. That is done. The final map of that half is filled in. Talk about big projects. This has taken ages. And I have seen loads of cool things as I've explored the world, like a floating pillager outpost. How weird's that? And now with them all nicely organised into the correct shulker boxes, I can gather them all up and place every single one down. And it is done! Doesn't it look cool? It looks really cool, and it's only halfway finished. It is definitely now starting to cause some frame drops. And before I go ahead and generate all the other maps, there's some other things I want to do. Such as modifying this hero of the village farm so that it is not full of cartographers. Because I don't need the maps anymore. I've got all the maps I can need, and I don't really need paper from them either. But there is really only one way to do the necessary modifications, and that is through brute force. I'm sorry guys, but you've just got to be cleared out. Then I can make way for these guys, which I'm going to make into clerics so I get loads of redstone. Well, once I remove the water and put the rails back in, I will. Anyway, the necessary modifications have successfully been made. I need to get rid of this cartography table and then fly back home to get a brewing stand. Whilst I'm here, I'll also grab lots and lots of emeralds. And then like before, the plan is to trade with them. And okay, that's not quite right. There we go. But yeah, the plan is to trade with them. I'm going to get max redstone every time because it'll just be handy to have. That locks me in the trade. The unfortunate thing is, okay, he died. But the brewing stand can't be moved, so I have to manually break it and place it because it's not pushable by a piston. So it'll be a little bit more effort than the cartographer one was, but it'll still be worth it. Plenty of going in, but I should also probably turn this breeder back on, since baby villagers are going to be quite important for the whole operation. This adult villager cannot be here because he is definitely going to ruin everything, and I can get back to trading with the villagers. Already my villagers have run out, so I'm going to have to wait for you guys to grow up. And once they do, I'll have a good steady stream of villagers available. I have got a lot of baby villagers there. As you can see, they are now just starting to grow up, so I should start sending them in and continue the trading. I just love watching all the baby villagers grow up once and suddenly become adults. It just looks so funny. And with that, there are now 100 in that slot, which is quite a lot. If I put 100 into every single slot, then the farm will give me 6,000 redstone per hour. Not bad, but also not good enough, so I'm going to go ahead and put 200 in there. I want to get to the point where I'm getting so much redstone per hour that it's better than my raid farm, so it's going to take quite a bit. And that is 200. And now I'm going to move the activator rail along one, and then I'll fill up every single one of these slots with 200 villagers each. Good job, I've got millions of baby villagers ready to go. My goodness, it's taken a long time. My frame rate is kind of dead now. Unless I look over there and it's fine. But there's a lot of villagers over there. About 1,400 to be exact. With many more babies over there. I need to shut off the breeder, which I can do by flicking every single one of these levers. And since there's a couple extra villagers here, I might as well send them through as well. My PC does not like this one bit, but making the necessary modifications is, yeah, it's not going to be very fun. But thankfully, it's very straightforward. Mission accomplished. Now all I'm missing is 7 buckets that are going to be filled up with water and used to waterlog the slabs. And it's done. My redstone hero of the village farm is complete. And the best thing is, I got so much redstone from that. Not just that, but all of this as well. Now I'm going to turn off the mob switch, and then I can test out the farm, see just how good it is. In theory, it's 12,000 redstone and 12,000 lapis per hour. But because there's so many villagers, the TPS is about half of what it should be. So it might be closer to about 6,000 an hour. But anyway, we're going to test that and find out. So I'll switch the farm on, jump into here, and wait for the pillagers to come up. And then I can get hero of the village. And then all these guys will throw me loads and loads of redstone. There's thousands of them. A good amount of time has passed, and I'm very curious to see how much redstone I've got into the first chest and straight. Okay, you know what? It's looking very, very nice. I'm going to be turning everything into blocks so that I have more space. And let's see just how much we get. And it has to be said that is a pretty good haul of goods. Plus, it's my first ever lapis farm. Got loads of that now. Plus, I've grabbed all the extra maps and paper that I had because you just never know when they could come in handy. And I get all these lovely extra resources dropped off back at home. Now, if I think back to the project of the map, I do, of course, still need to fill in all the rest of them. But I also think it'd be cool to have like a couple of pixel arts that show up on this map. They'd have to be pretty big, and I'd probably have to add them after I've mapped everything out so that I know where they'll be best to be put. I have ideas for 2 pixel arts. They're going to look amazing. But right now, my first priority is to map out the rest of my world. And stealing this map might be useful, so that then I can tell exactly where the starting point's going to be. And according to the map, it's gonna be right here. So, I know what I need to do. I just need to get busy exploring. And that's the first 2 rows obtained, meaning I've just got 22 more to go. And that is every single one done. And before I place all of them down, I'm gonna make a pixel art up in this corner here. It's definitely gonna be quite a hefty project, but it will look amazing when it's done. And it's also going to require collecting up a serious amount of items, such as 4 shulker boxes worth of blue concrete powder, blue wool, lapis lazuli, which is also blue. Yeah, as you can probably tell, I'm going to need a lot of blue items. What does that mean I'm going to build? At this point, you probably guessed it. I'm going to build a giant Sonic pixel art. It's going to look amazing. I can't wait to see the final product. And something I'm going to need a significant amount of for it is snow blocks. Now, I can't get those with the Silk Touch shovel. These are all Silk Touch. These are both Fortune, but I don't have many of them left. But hopefully, these will still be able to get me all the snow that I need. There goes shovel number 1. And I've lost the other one too. Now, there is a toolsmith here who, with enough emeralds, might just sell me what I need. But I suppose there's really only one way to find out. Efficiency 3 and breaking 3 iron might just be good enough, you know. And then he only sells efficiency 2 diamond. I don't think that's what I want, but I'll test it anyway. Well, it looks like efficiency 2 diamond is enough. What about iron efficiency 3? Okay, so they're all, that's fantastic news. I think the fact that I have haste 2 also is probably helping. So yeah, very handy to have beacons. And I'll just make sure to purchase a few more. And now I can definitely get all the remaining snow that I need. That is more than enough snow, nearly 3 shulker boxes worth. I'm also going to need over a shulker box worth of clay, and this is all I have left, which means I must make a trip to somewhere very, very specific. Yes, a lush cave. That is something that this portal connects to. As you can see, I've already mined up quite a lot of clay from here, but there's also still plenty left to go at. And look at that. I'll even find some diamonds whilst I'm collecting it. And at this point, I've definitely got enough. Now I've got to just try and remember where did I put my portal? Aha. Mission to find it has been successful, so I can get back home. Wonder why an axolotl has gone through this portal. That's probably not good for you, but I'm just going to leave you there. Don't go in the lava. But yeah, I'll just leave him there. I'm sure he'll be fine. And I'll continue collecting all of the needed items. Taking some time, but I now have every single item that I am going to need. And this right here is the corner of my giant map and is the area that I'm going to get busy building it. There's a lot of blocks to place, so I am just going to get straight to work. And finally, it is done. My goodness, that was a project. And how does it look? How does it look from the top view? It looks awesome, doesn't it? It looks really, really cool. Although this weather has meant that it does snow on part of him, which is not good. I'm going to have to wait for that to end. So whilst I do that, I can remove this platform. And I'll also start updating the maps so that they properly show Sonic. Although I'm said that, this one can't really be updated until I remove the snow. Otherwise, Sonic will just show to have a white patch on his head, which I do not want, so let's get rid of it. That is job done, so I'll now get back to filling in the maps. All the maps have been filled out and successfully organized in a shape, which means it's time to get back home and drop off all these spare shulker boxes. And then I can begin the end of this project, which is to first add these 9 maps into the corner and see just how cool that looks. Wait, I missed a bit. Oh, wait, I got these the wrong way. Hold on. Now I can see just how cool that looks. Look at that on the map. I love it. And then I can fill in all the item frames on this side of the map that still needs to be done. That is mission accomplished. And now it's time for me to get busy and place down every single map that I have. And it is complete. bright and a little bit laggy when I tried to look at it. But I have to say, I think it's amazing. My entire world mapped out. And it has a very, very cool Sonic Easter egg up in the corner. And if I look from above, it looks even cooler. I'd absolutely love it. I also don't know how in a video when I had 5 times as many days to go, I'd still manage to go overtime. Yeah, I guess punctuality will never be my strong point. But on a more positive note, don't forget to get yourself a 6,000 days poster. I'm actually about to go and start signing these in time for Saturday, so that's going to be very busy. And make sure to subscribe to help me get to 4 mil, and then this poor villager can be released from that prison. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was 6,000 days in hardcore Minecraft. All these posters are limited edition, but this one is super limited edition because there is only one.